Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Am I audible to all? Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Okay, right. Pranati. Okay. I'm sharing my screen. Confirm its visibility. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So today we are going to start the third module. So these are the topics we have discussed in the second module. What are they? We have seen different types of control statements and what are the control statements? Decision and control statements we have seen in the last module. It is module 2. Like if else and different types of if else statements. And we have seen various loop structures or iterative statements that includes while loop, for loop, nested loops. These are the basic loop structures we have seen. And then it is about some special purpose structures that are useful in Python programming are nothing but break and continue statements. Similarly, pass statement we have seen. So these are some special purpose statements that will help while building any loop. These things are used in for loop in the construction of while loops and for loops. We most frequently use these break, continue, pass statements, right? And coming to the third module is about the container data types. Again, we are going to continue the discussion on data types. What are the concepts we are going to discuss in this third module? The key focus is on list and sets. So we have seen various types of data types in the first module, like int, float, and then Boolean data types, complex data types, and then dictionary, list, set, several things. Among all these existing data types, the list and sets are known as container data types because they contain some elements. What is meant by a container? Can anybody answer? Why we are calling sets and list? Out of all the existing data types, only these two are called container data types, and we are going to discuss further. We are going to discuss further about these two data types. Can you tell me why these are? What is meant by a container? What is meant by a container? Any idea? What a container will do? What a container will do? Container will hold some elements. If I draw a container like this, so what is it? If I draw, say this is a container, right? Say this is some container and you want to store something in it. It may be a milk or water, whatever it may be. These things we are going to store in this container. It may be a milk or water a coffee or tea, whatever it may be. This holds something. So fundamentally, the container will hold something, right? Will hold initially. And whether the elements present in the container are going to be there permanently. So suppose I want to keep some water in this container. Whether the water in this container will be permanent or temporary. What is it? Yes, tell me. This is a container. This is a container. It holds some liquid. It holds some liquid, and whether it is permanently stored in it or temporarily stored in it. Temporarily stored. So what is it? Tell me. So why these are special category? Some name we are going to assign here. That is called container data types. Right? These are different from the data types like int, float, or strings. These are also data types, right? But these are not called as a container data types. Only list and sets are called container data types. Why they are so? This is an example. You need to come up with your opinion. So what is it? Can I modify this container? Can I modify this container? Yes or no? Yes sir. No, this is a container. This is a container, guys. Can I modify this container? Can I change this container? Changing means I'm not expecting the dimension. Even if I want to change the dimension also, I can expect. I can enhance the dimension. Also possible. So which means there is a possibility of modifying. There is a possibility of changing the container either in terms of the elements. This is nothing but quantity. We will call it as elements. These are nothing but elements or quantity present in the container. I can modify this. So now I'm saying this is nothing but a water. So once I use this, making it empty, I can make it empty, right? Can I make the container empty? Yes or no? Respond to me. Can I make this container empty?
Yes, sir.
Yes, definitely. If you start consuming, all these things, you can easily make it an empty container. And you can replace this container with some other element, say milk. So you can fill this container with milk, a new quantity, right? So this is nothing but a container. So what is meant by a container? Initially, this will hold something, some quantity, some elements. This can hold some elements or some quantity, which is under modification. You can change this. You can consume only half the container, or you can consume full container. You can make it empty. You can make it 1/4 of this, right? That depends. Once you consume 1/4, also you can refill it. You can refill it with the same quantity or same type of elements. We can do all these things, right? Similarly, our list and sets. So are they mutable or immutable? List and sets are mutable or immutable? Tell me. List and sets are mutable or immutable?
Mutable.
Mutable. That means you can vary. List is also a container. List is also a container. I can change. This is just like this. So this is a container. This holds a list of numbers, right? Or list of fruits, list of vegetables, whatever you name, list of students in a classroom, whatever you want, you can fill it. You can make it as a list. You can create a list in the form of a container, right? And you can update it, you can modify it. So once you create a list, it is not a static. So what we are going to see, it is not a static, which means you can modify it later on. So once we create a list, it is not a static. We can modify this list. Similarly, sets. Sets are mutable or immutable? Sets are mutable or immutable?
Mutable.
Yes, they are also mutable. Sets are also mutable. Okay. So let me erase all these things. So sets are also mutable. In this module, we are going to discuss the key concepts present in the two data types, such as list and sets. And do remember, these are also called as container data types. These are called container data types. Why? Because they consist of something, they contain something. They consist of something, they can hold something. That's why we can call it as a container data type. Okay. Now, so what are the topics we are going to discuss? The key focus of this chapter is going to be only two. One is list and the other one is sets. List. So in this, we are going to discuss how to access the elements, how to access the elements in the list, and what are the various types of operations one can perform over the list. So in the morning we have seen, we said concatenation of list, also an operation, right? Also we are going to discuss various list methods. That is, what are the ways to create different types of list. Also we are going to discuss list comprehensions of the list we are going to discuss, and another one is going to be the tuple. So what are tuples? What are tuples? The third data type is going to be tuple. Tell me, tuples are mutable or immutable again? Tuples are mutable or
Immutable, sir.
immutable. Are you sure? Are
Yes,
you
sir.
sure?
Yes, sir.
If you use the tuple alone, it is like immutable. If you create a list of tuples, then it will be mutable. You can create a list of tuples. You can upgrade the status of a tuple to a mutable. And under the topic of tuple, we are going to discuss accessing tuple elements, various types of tuple operations, again tuple methods, tuple comprehension. And then it is going to be the conversion of list comprehension to tuple. So there is a close relation between list and tuple. We use very frequently these things we use very frequently. That is the tuples and list. We use these two quite frequently together, not individual. Also we can use it individually, but we use them as a list of tuples. This will be your next experiment. That is in week 4, we are going to work on the tuples, where the first objective itself is how to create a list of tuples, right? That is what list comprehension to tuple. And iterators we are going to discuss, and iteratable Iteratables, and then iterables and zip functions. So these are very, very important in Python. So once we complete this third module, you are almost done with the Python basic programming. You are done with the basic Python programming. It covers almost all the things except files. How to handle a file. So these things we will discuss in the next module, right? And another container data type is going to be the sets. So here we are going to see how to access a set, how to access the elements in the set, and various operations in the set. What are different types of functions available in the set? Again, set comprehension we are going to see. And then what are dictionaries? So tell me whether dictionary is a mutable or immutable. Dictionaries are mutable or immutable?
Mutable, sir.
Mutable, also a container data type, right? Accessing dictionary elements, dictionary operations, dictionary functions, and of course nested dictionary and dictionary comprehension. So for all these 4 data types, we are going to learn the concepts like operation, accessing. So what are the key things we are going to learn for all these things? It is going to be, so what is it? How to access the elements. We are going to discuss accessing elements, right? How to access elements in list. Similarly, how to access elements in tuple, sets, dictionary. How to access elements, very, very important. You create a list, but how to access the list elements? So we said it is going to be, if I say L of 0, so what is it? It will give me the 0th position element present in the list. It will give us 0th position element in the created list, right? That like that, how to access elements in the set, dictionary. In dictionary, how will you access the elements? How will you access the elements in the dictionary? Yes, dictionary consists of 2 parameters. What are they? Key and associated value. Yes or no? The dictionary consists of keys, set of keys, and set of values corresponding to the key, right? If I call this key 1, then I can get the value of this corresponding key 1. Similarly, if I call corresponding key 2, I can get the value of this corresponding key. Like this, you can access the elements. So that we are going to see. You should be familiar with. Once you create a data type, you should know how to access the elements present in it. And second one is various types of operations. So what are the various possible operations? What are the various possible operations we can perform using list, sets, dictionary, as well as tuples, right? These operations are different for different data types, which means we are not going to perform same type of operations for all these data types: sets, list, tuples, and dictionary. We will call it as LSTD, right? Or special category of data types. The operations for list, sets, tuple, dictionary are not the same. There will be a different types of operations that we are going to learn. And another one in common, it is going to be methods. What is meant by a method? Any idea? What is meant by a method? Methods is again another common topic we discuss for all these data types. So what is my method? Yes, any idea? Methods. So list methods we are going to discuss, and then tuple methods we are going to discuss, and then in sets it is called as operations, and dictionary also it is called operations. So in the context of list, we call it as a method, list of methods. That means how to call a list. How to call a list is called the method. So once you create a list, you should know how to access the elements, how to operate, what are the different types of operations we can perform, and then what are the methods to call a list, and then comprehension, very, very important. So what are the comprehensions available in the list, right? So these things we will discuss in common for set as well as list. And coming to this list and tuple are same. These operations are these concepts are very similar for both list as well as tuples. Coming to the sets and dictionary, so it is nothing but how to access the elements, and then what are the operations, then it is going to be the set functions. What are the set functions? Any idea? Set functions. You have studied sets in your high schools or wherever it is. What are set functions? Any idea? Yes. There are a few popular functions one can perform using a set. Yes, tell me. I'm creating two sets, A and B. The set A consists of natural numbers. The set B consists of prime numbers. Both are numbers. Set A consists of natural numbers, n natural numbers, and set B consists of, say, prime numbers. So what are various types of functions that do involve in these two sets? Any idea? No idea. Just tell me, what are set functions? You have studied this in your basic mathematics. Tell me. Set function, don't keep calm. Hello? Can anybody answer this? What are various set functions? Yes, guys, at least one of you should respond. Should give a response for this. And again, I'm seeing few numbers. I'm sure numbers do not carry any attendance. Only roll number. You should have an authentic roll number, right? So what is this? Many people are with names. You should attend the meetings with your roll number. That's fine. Tell me, what are the set functions? You know, intersection, union. Yes. So you know union, right? And what is by intersection? So these are like functions that we can perform using set. We have a single keyword, intersection. That is available as a function. Also union of two sets, like that. And similarly, coming to the dictionary, we are going to see the dictionary operations and dictionary functions, and then it will be nested dictionary, and then dictionary comprehension. So these are the topics we'll bombard on you while discussing the third module. It seems like the topics which are familiar to you, but we are going to discuss in depth for all these 4 types of data types. So these are the outcomes we can expect from this module. By learning this, you can understand various components of list, set, tuple, and dictionary, and how to make it mutable and immutable objects, and understand the state change of objects during the runtime. So these things you will come out during this particular discussion, module 3. And these are the POs that one can map with these outcomes. So that includes the first program outcome according to NBA, right? So we are going to apply basic engineering knowledge, also mathematics, knowledge of mathematics. And here we are going to design solutions for various engineering problems. So once you know about all these functions, operations, methods, for these types of data sets, you can solve various engineering problems by designing or by building some simple programs that can address the real world issues, right? And we are going to address this program specific outcome 1. So which is nothing but understand, design, analyze computer programs in the areas related to algorithms, system software, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and networking, right? So you should have a strong knowledge on these container data types. So what are container data types? And then what are different concepts involved in these container data types that will help you to address the challenges of this artificial intelligence and machine learning, right? So now, so this is how we map. And let us start the first topic, list. So we have seen this in the first chapter itself, right? First chapter, in the first module, under the topic called data types. So what is meant by a list? It is a collection of objects or elements which is ordered and changeable. So it is a collection of objects. What is it? It is a collection of elements or objects. We can say like this, right? Collection of elements which are ordered, of course, and changeable. You can modify them, right? If I want to list like a list of prime numbers, there should be an order, right? If I want to list n natural numbers, there should be an order, right? If I want to list 100 natural numbers or 1000 natural numbers, there will be a list. And so which will have a definite order and which are of course changeable. So you can update them, you can delete them, you can modify them, right? And in Python, lists are written with square brackets. We know this. So this is a simple list. So what is this list actually? The list consists of strings of alphabets. The list consists of strings of a 3-letter alphabets like A, triple B, triple C, right? So with how many elements are there? There are 3 elements. The list consists of 3 elements. And what are these elements? Consists of a list of 3 alphabets. Okay. And then access items. So to access values in list. So these are called elements, also called as values, list values. We can also call them as list values. See, for a single representation, there will be multiple or different representations. You should not confuse. So if we define a set or a list, right, we can call it as objects, we can call it as elements, we can call it as values. Values present in the list, elements present in the list, right? So what is it? To access values in list, we are going to use a square bracket like this. Square brackets for slicing along with the index. For slicing along with the index or indices to obtain a value available at that particular index. So what is meant by accessing? So for example, this is a list. Let us say L. How to create a list? By means of a square bracket. I'm creating a string of alphabets. So these are the values or list. These are the values or elements of the list. Always the index starts with 0 and moves like this 1 and 2, right? And each element or value is separated by a comma. If you ignore this comma, what will happen? So it will consider, for example, if you ignore this comma, right? Instead of here I wrote like this AA, BB, comma CC. So means there are only 2 elements. That's all. The list consists of only 2 elements. If you introduce a comma here, then the list consists of 3 elements having indexing of 0, 1, 2, right? So how to create a list? The list can be created by square brackets. The values in it are separated by commas, and always the indexing starts from 0. From 0 it will move in this direction 1, 2, 3, like this, right? Now how to access the elements present in the list? So once again I'm going to use a square bracket, right? You can get the first value, that is the first indexing, nothing but 0, L of 0. What is L of 0? Is equals to AA. L of 0 will be AA. Similarly, if you want to access the next element, it will be L of second element, let us say. It will be your CC. Second element in the sense third one. And okay. Third one, because the indexing starts from 0, it will go up to 0, 1, up to n minus 1. Right. If you say there are 3 elements, the indexing will be like this 0, 1, and 2. If you say there are 10 elements, you say there are 10 elements, the indexing will have 0, 1, 2, up to 9. Right? We are going to say the list consists of 10 values or 10 elements. While calling, the upper value or the last value of the list will be L of 9 only. The last value of the list will be L of 9. That will display the last value or last element of a list. Right. If you call the value 10 like this, L of 10, what will happen? What will happen? Index out of range. You will get an error. There will be an error statement. You will get an error, and the error is going to be indexing out of range. So that's why index is very, very important in the list. Okay. So these are the list, and this is what, how to slice in Python. So this is what the index. So what is the index here? We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is in the positive indexing. Also, you can have a negative indexing. So what is the meaning here? So if I want to access L of 4, what is the output? L of 4 will be E. Similarly, what is L of minus 1? L of minus 1 is also E, right? So here 0 will be considered as a positive indexing. So 0 will be considered as if you consider a scale like this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is a positive index, nothing but a positive indexing. And we have a negative indexing. How to start the negative indexing? Always do remember. So here it ends at 4. Means there are 5 elements, which means there are 5 elements. The negative indexing starts with minus 1, whereas the positive indexing starts with 0, and negative indexing starts with minus 1. It is negative indexing. In either way, you can access the elements present in the list. So negative indexing always starts with minus 1 in the reverse order. అంటే మీరు పాజిటివ్ ఇండెక్సింగ్లో రిప్రజెంట్ చేసిన దానికి నెగిటివ్ ఇండెక్స్లో రిప్రజెంట్ చేసిన దానికి రివర్స్ ఆర్డర్లో ఉంటుంది. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ పాజిటివ్ ఇండెక్సింగ్ and this is a negative indexing. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to access the elements using a negative indexing, this will be minus 1. The last value or the final value will be assigned with minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 1. Do remember 0 is considered under positive indexing only, not in the negative indexing. Okay, very, very important again. Another important concept in indexing, under the concept of indexing of list, how to index them. We have both positive indexing as well as a negative indexing, right? So if you want, you can make a note of this, is important. And then this is how we can access various elements present in the list. You can access a single element. So as we said, L of 0, you are going to access the first element, that is and it is only one element. So how many elements you are expecting? Only one element we are going to access, not more than that, present at this position. Similarly, if you want to access L of 3, again only one element present in the position 3, present at the index 3. Okay. Other than this, we can also access the elements more than one element. How to access more than one element? That time you need to specify the starting value and ending value. So this is what the example. Print my list. My list is an example list. It consists of elements or values. These are the elements. So this is the first 0th position, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the last one, and that means the list consists of a total of 9 elements. The list consists of a total of 9 elements starting from 0 to 8. Now we'll see here, if I want to access the elements present in the 3rd to 5th position, this is what 3rd to 5th, that means 3, 4, 5. How to access them? you need to give a range. So that is my list. My list. You need to write the list name, which is my list, and open the square bracket. So you want to start from, you want to access the third to fifth one. So you need to assign here 2 to 5. 2 to 5. That means 2 means what? Third element, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want to access the third element. This is my third element. So this is the first element. This is the second element. This is the third element. And this is 4. This is fifth one. Right? So like this, you can access third element, fourth element, and fifth element. So this is third one, this is fourth one, and fifth one. So this will be your fifth element. Understand? Third, fourth, and fifth. These are the three values or elements present in the list. Right? So don't use 3 here. If you use 3 here, that means you are trying to access the elements from the index 4. You are trying to access the elements from the index 4, not 3. If you say 2, you are trying to access the elements from the index 3. Okay. And now see here, this is using negative indexing. How to access the elements using the negative indexing that begins with 4th position, right? So you need to you should have an idea both both positive indexing as well as the negative indexing, right? So this will be my wait a minute, I will show you how to represent this positive indexing as well as the negative indexing. See here, so we said this is positive indexing, starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. What about the negative indexing? Right. So negative indexing starts from the final indexing position. There you need to represent -1. So you need to move in the reverse direction. You need to move in the opposite direction of that of your positive indexing. So what is the indexing position here? Here it will be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and this will be -9. Understand? So you should be familiar with both way of indexing. How to represent positive indexing as well as the negative indexing. Right? So this is an example using negative indexing. So you want to call the elements beginning to the 4th position. 4th position means what? -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5 will come here. 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. Right? You can call them directly from here, but see here, beginning the 4th position. If you call like this, so what we are trying to access? My list, right? I'm calling them using negative indexing. -5, that represents starting from here. From -4, you want to access all these elements up to the last element, starting from 4. We are representing this using a negative indexing. Okay. So same thing if I represent in terms of the positive indexing, like this, my list, five, colon. colon will represent the starting and indexing and ending end. So where you want to begin the index and where you want to end the indexing. This information will be represented with respect to a colon. So here you are saying 5 to end. So end means here I'm not representing any final value. Try to find the difference. If I call a list like this, what I'm doing 5. That's all. I'm not giving the end value or final value of the list. So it will go indefinitely. That means indefinitely till the last value of the list. But this time it starts from 6th position. From 6th, elements 6th to end. That's what the meaning, right? And if you call a list like this, a list with a colon, we call a list with a colon like this. There is no end and there is no starting as well as there is no ending. Wait a minute. So here we are not representing both the starting and end points of this list using a colon. That means you want to list all the elements. You want to print all the elements present in the list. There is no starting and there is no ending. Simply a colon. So which means you want to print all the elements present in the list, right? And let us see the operations or functions, list functions or list methods. So we call them as a list functions or methods. We also call them as a list methods. These are the things. You can append a list. You can extend. You can insert a new element in the list. You can remove some elements. Right. So these things we will discuss in the next class. So list methods or functions, we will discuss this in the next class. Any doubt in this, students? If you have any doubts, you can discuss. Or otherwise, let me end this session. No doubt.